When Jesus said, the meek shall inherit the earth, I'm starting to think he might have meant the mediocre. We don't talk enough about the fact that art and culture sit very squarely inside of something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This is a psychological model of human needs that's stacked in a pyramid. Now, at the base of it, you've got physiological survival. So that's stuff like food, water, shelter. But at the top of it, you've got self-actualization, which is about expressing yourself and creativity and culture and morality. It's not describing these things as a luxury or a privilege. It's still describing them as a need. It's just the last one that he believes you have to satisfy. It's a requirement of being part of the species. Vegetables, sleep, water, you need them to survive, but you also need to stand in a gallery. You also need to sit in a theatre, lose yourself in a concert, stare at a painting, travel, sit through a 2-hour play that frustrates you now and changes you in a year. That's part of the human diet. In Britain and in many places across the West, we have let that diet collapse. I think one of the big reasons is that we've had too many interlopers step into the culture. People who weren't good enough to do the thing properly, and so rather than just trying to continue to hone their craft for the betterment of themselves, they decided to make themselves loud enough to just capture attention. These are people who satisfied the masses into not having to care about form, and in doing so, degraded the very form itself. They then reframed the conversation so it wasn't about quality, it was about quantity. It wasn't about craft, it was just about delivery. This really hit me again because I saw this clip the other day of Chris Moyles on the show Never Mind the Buzzcocks. For those who don't know, he was a huge radio DJ when I was growing up, and he still is one now. The guy whose job was to literally know music sat on a panel show about music and couldn't name songs, and he was eviscerated. He was clowned for it.
Chris, have you ever heard any music?
He's bonkers, leave him alone.
Same thing happened with Piers Morgan on Have I News For You, but with regards to journalism instead of music. These people, I'm sorry, set lowly standards then when it came to their craft. And those moments, that's what it looks like when these mediocre interlopers decide to take over, when their humility disappears, when people who weren't good enough to play the game decided just to change the rules to make it easier for themselves. I mean, I've talked plenty about right-wing provocateurs in film and TV over in the US, people who were admittedly not very good actors, not very good writers, couldn't sell things in Hollywood, and now spend their time telling you that Hollywood is broken, that art itself is broken. They're not raising the craft, they're just burning it down because it rejected them. Instead of wrestling with critique, they sneer at it. These interlopers of culture are found everywhere. Just think about what's happened with streaming culture. Music, film, TV, even books are all bent around the logic of delivery, not the logic of the art form, of the bottom line, not of the common good. Streaming did not make movies better. I'm sorry, it just made them more convenient. Spotify has not made the album richer, it's just made music more curated. None of these things have ever asked, is this good for the craft? They just ask the questions, can we do this? And none of them have ever had the humility to wonder what we might lose in the process. And that's why the cultural diet has collapsed. Instead of nourishing ourselves, we're on delivery apps for culture. It arrives at our door, it's stripped of ceremony, it's stripped of context, and we wonder why it doesn't hit the same. There are still countries where people go to the theatre and not know what's on, they just want to see, they just know it's important for them. We've lost that with everything, with cinema, with music, with theatre, with books, with the law. Everything is curated and delivered. Culture is not supposed to be effortless, people. It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to take work, the same way that working in your body takes work. For this, you have to go out, you have to buy a ticket, you have to sit in the dark, you have to stand in the gallery, you have to take the record out of its sleeve. You let yourself get bored and provoked and confused and angry and challenged. That's still part of the diet. That's not, the point of art is not instant gratification. The point is the nutrients that you don't even know you're taking in. The image I keep coming back to is like a doctor who realizes that the only part of the visit patients actually enjoy is the lollipop at the end when they were kids, right? And so he says, instead of really treating anyone, I'm just going to tell them they're all fine and just hand them a lollipop. Sure, everyone might be happier in the moment and his customer base might go up, but the sickness festers. That's where we're at with culture. Too many lollipops. Not enough care.